Hello viewers, welcome to the course on agronomy, and today we will study about the classification of the crops. And before we start, I just want to tell you why we study the classification, because it is a systematic arrangement of the crops or any things. For example, like there are many species of the animals and the plants, so they are well classified, like angiosperms in the plant kingdom. We divide them into the algae, fungi, bryophyte, pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm. Similarly, for the animal science, they are classified just to help that we can arrange the in a proper way. So, here we have also classified these crops of the region, that so we can easily understand what crop in which it belongs to. So, here we have first start that the place of the origin, from where it is there are two types of the systems, one is for the native and another is for the exotic. And the native crops, they belongs to the near climatic regions where they are growing, and the exotic species are those species which are taken from the other countries, from the isoclimatic regions. Do you know the isoclimatic regions? Means the climate of this region and other region is the same. So, here they are known as the exotic crops, and they are well adapted to our condition. Here the example of native crops are rice, barley, black gram, mustard, castor, sugarcane and cotton, whereas the exotic species are tobacco, potato, jute, maize. Like this, we have classified these in the native and exotic crops. Now, we come to the taxonomical classification, because the taxonomical classification means botanical classification. In these, most of the agriculture crops, they belongs to either the monocotyledons or the dicotyledons. They are the part of the angiosperms. So, monocotyledons means they have only one cotyledons. I have mentioned here some figure. I have shown you that what is the difference here, that in the monocot, most of the crops they have a single cotyledon, only one cotyledon, whereas in the dicotyledons they have a two cotyledons, as we can see here. And then the another characteristic of the difference between the two is the leaves morphology. If you see the leaf morphology, then you can see that they have a parallel venation, whereas in the dicot they has a reticulate venation. So, this is the difference you can identify by simple seeing the leaf, and most of the monocots, these grasses and the cereals, they belong to the monocot. The third important character is the flower character. If you just take the flower of these two, monocot and dicot, you can just see that in the monocot the flower arrangement is all the parts are the trimerous, like your calyx, corolla, they belongs to the three only or multiple of the three, whereas in the dicot it is either the tetramerous or the pentamerous, means calyx are 4, calyx may be the 5, or corolla, if it is a calyx is 4, corolla will be 4, calyx is 5, corolla will be 5. So, in this way they are the multiple of this one, all these are. This is the third characteristic of this difference between the two. And the another character is that this vascular bundle, if you cut the cross section of the stem, then you find that the vascular bundles in monocot are scattered, whereas in the dicot they are arranged in a ring. So, this is the difference. The fifth one is the most important one, is the root system. In the monocot the roots are fibrous root, they are shallow root and the fibrous, whereas in the dicot it is the tap root system, and which is known as the anchoring roots, they go very deep. So, this is the difference between the two. So, morphologically if you go in the field, you can identify this is a monocot or dicot. Why it is very important? Because if your now the time has come to increase the productivity per unit of the land. So, you have to grow one crop, two crops, three crops. So, the root system is the most important, that whether it is a shallow root system, then it can be accompanied with the deep root system. So, 2-tier system, 3-tier system can be arranged. So, this is the one I mentioned here, the difference difference between the monocot and dicot, and now we come to that which plant species the crops belong to which family. So, for the sake of that one, we have grouped all the most of the grass family or the cereals, they belong to the Poaceae or the Gramineae family. These crops are rice, wheat, maize, barley, oats, sugarcane, napier, sorghum and paragrass. If you take any crop of that one and compare the characteristics of the monocot, you can find all such type of the character in that one. Now, the another is the dicot. Dicot is a very big family, it contains almost all. There are 20 families, we have grouped the 56 crops which are growing in nearby area. So, here the most major is the Fabaceae or the Leguminosae family, legumes. The leguminous means they have a, in the root systems they have a rhizobia which they can help in the conservation of the atmospheric nitrogen, fixation of the atmospheric nitrogen, and that is why they are the most important. Their crops are the rich in the protein contents, and the crops are pea, cowpea, pigeon pea, Bengal gram, black gram, green gram, soya bean, so guar, these are the cluster bean, they are the most common species of this one. Now, the next one is the cruciferae or the mustard family. In the cruciferae, most of the plants are like cabbage, cauliflower, you can see in the figure that which crops are belong to this one. Now, another one is the Cucurbitaceae family, it is also known as the gourd family. In this one, your sweet gourd, ash gourd, bitter gourd, rich gourd, cucumber and pumpkins, they are the main crops belongs to that family. So, each family has a different characteristics. So, you can also see it for detail, any taxonomical book you can take it and you can see the characteristics of that one, or for any crops if you want to see the agronomical characteristic classification of this one, you can visit the website Wikipedia and give the command of any crops, you can have all the information of that one. The another one is the Malvaceae or the cotton family. Mainly the cotton family, they are used for the fiber, they have a fiber. So, in that one the cotton and the ladyfinger and jute family, that belongs to that one. Then Solanaceae. Solanaceae is the family which have a potato, tomato, tobacco, brinjal, chilies, all such type the crops, they belongs to that family. And Tilaceae. So, like this I will not cover a whole here, but I have mentioned here these in my lecture, the different the families here, you can just read it and you can see it. Now, I will come to the another type of the classification, the commercial classification. In the commercial classification, all the crops are grouped into the different types, the like the food crops, the feed crops, and the food crops mainly edible for the human beings like wheat, maize, pulses, fruit crop, vegetable, and the another one is the feed crops. Feed crops are mainly used for the animal beings as a cattle feed, livestock feed. These are the napier grass, beans, grasses, sorghum, bursey, maize, all belongs to the your feed crops. Then the industrial crops, there are some crops which have some industrial value, or we can call it a cash crop. You can immediately sold in the market, get the some money. So, these cash crops are cotton, soybean, cashew nut, sugarcane, potato, groundnut, tobacco, sesame, sunflower, castor, coconut, safflower, cardamom, chili. These are the some of the crops which are having a cash crop, you can sell in the. Then food adjuncts, these are the crops which neither can be strictly the food crops or as a cash crop, but they can be used for the both the purpose, and these are the industrial or the commercial crops. These crops are condiments, mainly beverages and narcotics, these are the one. This is the one classification based on the commercial classification. Now, we have come on the classification based on the usage of this one. Now, the one is the most important one is the cereal, which is used for the edible purpose. So, in the most cereals you can just see some of the crops are the wheat. The wheat is there, rye, barley, these are some maize, rice, sorghum. these are the cereals known as the cereals crops. There are major millets and the minor millets. Major millets that belongs to the bajra, jowar and maize, and minor millets are your ragi. So these are the groups we have divided. Then come to the pulses, all the leguminous crops, the pulses, dal, we call it say dal, pulses, they belongs to the your leguminous. They are the black gram, chickpea, cowpea, field pea, Bengal gram, green gram, horse gram, kidney bean. So these are the some of the crops belongs to the pulses. These pulses are rich in the protein, they are the most important one. Then oil seeds plants, there are some plants their seeds can be used for the oil extraction purpose, and that belongs to the oil seeds, and these belongs to the coconut, castor, yellow sarson, Indian mustard, Indian rapeseed, linseed, Niger, then safflower, sesame, soybean, all types of the seeds, they are directly used for the extraction of the oil and used for the human beings as the oil. Sugar and the starch crops. Now the most of the crops, some they are rich in the sugar contents and they are also rich in the carbohydrate contents, like your potato, which is very rich in the carbohydrates, and chukandar, sweet potato, it is rich in the sugar contents and the carbohydrates, and sugarcane, very rich in the sugar contents. So all based on the sugar contents and the carbohydrates, they are again grouped into the different types of the. Then spices and the condiments, there are number of the species which is used for the as a spices or maybe as a condiments. So these are the like ginger, chilies, garlic, onion, fenugreek and cumin, asphotratis, all these belongs to the your spices and drug also, because they are also used for the cure of the most of the diseases. So these are the cinchona, cassia, neem, cardamom, tulsi, pine, castor, henna, cassia, all belongs to the as a drug crops. So either they can be extracted from the roots or maybe from the seed. So they are classified under the drug species. Now the narcotics. There are some crops which are used as a narcotics like poppy is the one, and then tobacco, ganja, opium, they belongs to the narcotics. They just make your mood easy, elevate your mood, and they are affecting your nervous system. Then there are some other species belongs to the crops, beverages like tea, coffee, coca. These are the some of the species that belongs to the beverages. So this is the way that we have classified. And then plantation crops, because there are some of the crops which produce the high productivity and they are planted in a big way. So like these are the crops grown on the large scale agriculture unit for heavy output. It can be an artificially reforested area by the planting or the direct seeding. They are the rubber, coconut, coffee, areca nut, palm, tea, oil palm. These are the plantation crop, and ICAR has a separate institute on the plantation crops, tuber crops and all these things. Then fruits crops. Generally the people see that the crops are only the agronomy. No, even the fruit crops also belongs to that one, and so that's why the ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture, or in agriculture we have crops, fruits, flowers and animals, all belongs to the agriculture. That's why we have considered here as a fruit crops also, and these are the crops which are rich and valuable source of the food, and several vitamins are found in different fruits. Important fruits grown in our country are mango, guava, apple, lychee, jackfruit, banana, bear. These are the some of the fruit plants growing here. Then vegetable crops, there are some crops there the leaves are used as a vegetable, maybe sometimes the green fruits are used as a vegetable. So they are again classified into the different uses according to the vegetable crops. These are the crops which are important for the human diet and are rich in the vitamins and minerals, and they are ladyfinger, brinjal, tomato, chilies, snake gourd, amaranthus, pointed gourd, garlic, green pepper, all these belongs to this one. So and most important point that in vegetable crops they are the perishable. So one should be very careful that within a period you have to consume that one. Then ornamental plants. The ornamental plants, they give the beautification of your area, and therefore like these are the plants which includes the flowers, shrubs, ornamental foliage plants, cacti and others. Some of the ornamental plants are petunia, like petunia, jasmine, rose, chrysanthemum and bougainvilleas, cacti. So, these are the you can use as a ornamental. Then fiber crops. Fiber crops are mainly for the making the cloth, jute and all these things. So, fiber are there, maybe in the flower or maybe in the stem, you can just rot and then take out, strip the fiber. So, these are the crops grown, get fiber to make cloth, ropes, matter and gunny bags. They are the jute, cotton, sunheap, flax, all these things. Now, this is the one based on the uses. Now, we come to on the seasonal classification. Every crops cannot be grown on all the season. So, we have classified all these crops for the different regions, for the different seasons, and here we have classified the season into three types. One is the Kharif season. Kharif season that start from June, July to September, October. So, during that period the rains comes and some crops can be grown during only that period. So, only temperature is there, good temperature, maybe 20-30 degree temperature. There the rice, oat, maize, mango, the mung bean, cluster bean, the sunflower, groundnut, safflower, they can be grown in the Kharif. They doesn't require much irrigation, only rain-fed crops, but the other are the Rabi crops. Rabi crops means they require a low temperature and they can be mainly grown from the month of October, November to January, February. So, that is why during that time the temperature is low and they require irrigation. Sometimes those places which they get the winter rains, they doesn't require any irrigation, but in the western part of the Rajasthan or India, they require irrigation. And in that Rabi crops, mostly the wheat is the one example, wheat, lentil, mustard, barsim, potato, cabbage, Bengal gram, cauliflower, peas, they can be grown in the winter. Then third is the Zaid crop. This is also known as the summer crops. As we mentioned that June, July to October, it is a Kharif crop. From November to February, it is a winter crops, but from February to June, some crops can be grown. So, under the conserved moisture or maybe with the help of the irrigation. So, these are known as the Zaid or the summer crops, and these crops are mainly they are the black gram, sesame, green gram, cowpea. They can be grown from February to May. So, this is a classification based on the seasonal classification. Now, we have come to the agronomic classification, means agronomic classification according to the suitability of the topo regions different. There are some regions they grow on the highlands, crops can be grown in the highlands. There are some crops which can be grown on the medium land, and there are some crops which can grow on the lowlands. So, in the highlands the crops are mainly arhar, cotton, sunheap, sesame, maize, napier. They doesn't require a stagnation of the water. Even in a low water they can be grown, but in the medium land they required more water, moisture, and but they can't withstand the waterlogging conditions. So, that is why they call it a medium. These crops require the sufficient moisture for growth, but cannot tolerate the water stagnation. These are jute, Bengal gram, potato, black gram, sugarcane, barley. And third one is the crop which can be grown on the lowland. These crops require abundant supply of the water, and they can tolerate for a long time prolonged water logging conditions. That is why the rice is the most suitable for the lowland crops, and paragrass and other crops can be grown. Now, we come to the classification based on the soil texture, and there are three types of the texture. One is the light soil, where the sandy soil. In here the soils are sandy to loam soils, and these soils are light, the infiltration rate is very high, here the plants can grow very well, and these are the potato, turnip, sweet potato, green gram, some of the example I have mentioned you. Then crops of the silt to silt loam, those crops which can grow in the sandy soil cannot grow on the silty soil. So, because there the water stagnation may be possible there, so that is why for that they required more water, and for that the sugar cane, pea, maize, pigeon pea, cotton, these can be grown on a silty loam soils. And then third is the clay loam soil, the clay loam soil where the crops can be rice, wheat, grasses, barley, then linseed, marvel grass, lentil, chickling pea, others. So, they can be tolerate in a where the water logging conditions, because the soil structure depends on this soil is suppose sandy soil, 80% soil is sand is there, clay it is say more than 40 to 50% clay is there. So, according to the texture the crops, so agronomist must have a knowledge about the soil also, which type of the crops can be grown. Then according to the tolerance of the problematic soil, there are some soils are very good, some soils which have a saline soils, some are the alkaline soil, some are the acidic soil. So, we should see that under which crops, which soil, which crops can be grown, and for that purpose we have classified like tolerant to acidic soil, and these crops are wet rice, potato, mustard, they can grown on the acidic soil. Then saline soils, mostly area is saline. So, in that one the saline soils are chilies, jowar, cucurbit, sesame, wheat, guar, barley, bajra. So, different varieties are available for the saline soils. And then crops of the alkaline soils, there are some because of the high irrigation some alkalinity also develop, and for that purpose the crops are barley, berseem, cotton. So, agronomist or he should know that which type of the soil and which crops can be taken, that is why this classification is most important for that one. Then crops tolerate to waterlogged soil, there are number of the areas, low lying areas where the waterlogging is there. So, near the sea beach also and all the, so in that case water stagnation is also there for some times. So, wet rice, guinea grass and dinanath grass, para grass, napier grass, they can be grown there. The crops can tolerate to soil erosion. There are some places either in the slopy area or maybe in the desert areas where the erosion is there, soil erosion, and under that eroded soil which crops can be grown. So, for that purpose we have again classified and identified the crops which are suitable to that erosion soil like marvel grass, bean, groundnut, moth bean, black gram, these are some of. Then according to the soil tillage, because every crops cannot be grown everywhere, they require a soil working, and soil working for that purpose the tilling is required, and for that purpose we have classified mainly the two arable crops and non-arable crops. Most of the arable crops they require a soil working, tillage is required, and for that purpose most of the grasses, rice, potato, radish, tobacco, all these can. Then another is the non-arable crops like grasses mainly, they does not require a tilling operation, you just broadcast the seed, or some weeds they can automatically without doing any crops. Then according to tolerance to inclement weather, and for that purpose sometimes we see the frost are very common, the crops which cannot tolerate the frost they will die. Then somewhere the droughts are very common, so in that which crops can be grown. Then cold tolerant. So, here we mentioned that the frost tolerant crops are sugar beet, wheat and other things they can be grown. Then drought tolerance like bajra, cotton, jowar, chilies, they can tolerate the drought. If there is a delay in the rains, they can grow for up to 15 days, 20 days stress condition. Then some plants they can only grow in the winter, so they can tolerate the cold, and for that purpose mustard, cabbage, these crops can be grown for the one. According to the depth of the root system, in the first slide I mentioned that the monocot and the dicot, and there we have mentioned that most of the monocot has a shallow root system and dicot has a deep root system. Even in the dicot the roots, some plants has a only 1 meter depth, some goes up to more than 1 meter depth. So, it is very important that if you want to grow crops, with the another crops also, then the root system is, because if the different types of the root systems, then they will use the nutrients and the moisture from the different depth of the soil. That is the most important. And here the shallow rooted crops, most of the cereals, they are the rice, toria, potato, onion, these are the shallow rooted. And then moderate deep root systems where the root can go up to 1 meter, and for that purpose they are the wheat, tobacco, groundnut, barley, these are the example. And then deep root system, very deep root system, where the root can go up to more than 5 meter, 10 meter. Some of the grasses even, they go weed, they can go very deep. To cypress, and other one they go more than. Other example of these, maize, gourd, cotton, they are the deep root system, and very deep root system are sugar cane, lucerne, sunflower, pigeon pea, and these are the example. So it is a very important, if you use your resources properly for optimum at a different depth of the soil, is the, that's why the root classification is very important. Today we have studied about the classification of crops, and the importance of classification. I have mentioned that why classification is essential, because it is a properly classification, properly management, arrangement of the crops, and therefore we have classified these into different like exotic and indigenous species according to the uses of this one, according to the agronomical practices of this one, according to the different types of the pulses, cereals, all these things. And then we have classified on based on the monocot and dicot system. We have classified them on the base of the root system, deep rooted system, and shallow rooted system. So we can increase the productivity per unit of the land. Then we have studied about the water requirement, soil types, soil texture types, all these crops according to the different uses. We have classified agronomical uses, all this one.